If you ever need me, I will be there. I might be late, and I might be drunk. I may or may not have a raccoon. The raccoon might be stolen. How was I going? I will be there. Me and the raccoon will be there.
You ever see that photo of a black woman in Selma punching that white cop? That wasn't a movie scene. That was real life. And her name was Annie Lee Cooper. They'll tell you she was just another protester. But what they won't tell you is that she was 54 years old. She worked as a nurse and had spent years being denied the right to vote in her own country. You want to talk about righteous rage? Yeah, that was it in motion. She was born in 1910 in Selma, Alabama, deep in the Jim Crow South. Every election she'd line up, take the literacy test, pass it, and still get turned away. Why? Because white registrars didn't want educated black women voting them out. She tried 5 times and was denied every single time. And by the time the civil rights movement reached Selma, she'd seen more injustice than most of us could stomach. So when she joined the local registration drives and marches, it wasn't about politics, it was about dignity. January 25th, 1965. Annie showed up outside of Dallas County Courthouse to register again. Sheriff Jim Clark, known for his brutality, he started shoving protesters and he hit her. And she swung back. Not because she thought she'd win the fight, but because she refused to bow one more time. That moment, that single punch, was photographed and it went worldwide. They called her violent, but all she did was return the blow that she had been taking her entire life. She didn't break his jaw, unfortunately. She just broke the illusion that black women would continue to take it quietly. They arrested her and charged her with assault. And white newspapers used her photo as proof that the movement was getting out of hand. But inside Selma, that image did something that no speech could do. It showed that resistance had limits, and black women had reached theirs. It told America that if peace doesn't protect us, then we'll protect ourselves. A few weeks later came Bloody Sunday. A few months later came the Voting Rights Act of 1965. And Annie Lee Cooper's name was barely mentioned. She lived to be 100 years old. She passed in 2010. And when they asked her about that day, she said, "I struck him because I was tired of being pushed." That's it. No political slogan, no press release. Just a 54-year-old black woman who had had enough. And that's the part America never wants to talk about, right? How liberation wasn't polite or convenient or male. It was women like Annie Lee Cooper swinging back, not for power, but for peace that actually meant something. Say her name, Annie Lee Cooper.
Wake up, grab a brush and put a little makeup. Hide the scars to fade away. Hide the scars to fade away. Why'd you leave the keys up on the table? Here you go, create another fable. You wanted to grab a brush and put a little makeup. You wanted to hide the scars to fade away. The shake up. You wanted to. Why'd you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to.
And good morning, evening, or afternoon, depending on what part of the globe you're on and what time zone you are in. I'm your host, Skeptically Speaking.
And I'm Sweet Pea from across the pond.
And this drink is tasting way too good. Yes. I discovered that pink lemonade, make an ice ball out of pink lemonade, put blueberry and raspberry in the ice mold, then couple that with New Amsterdam red berry vodka. Oof. Yeah. So I'm going to have to go easy on this stuff because this works. Yes. And you are? How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
Well, you know how I'm doing. But yeah, we're gonna have a show today. I don't know. I wanted to talk about the U.S. involvement, basically the U.S. takeover of Venezuela. And it was going to be about oil. And then a whole bunch of, I mean, this happened. When did this happen? Do you know? Do you remember where you were when you got the news that we were pummeling Venezuela? That was before Christmas. That was before I took Christmas vacation. So we're talking 3 weeks ago. We were harassing Venezuela. So it was so weird, you know. Okay, so the interesting thing about well, I really don't know how to describe it, but since we've settled on this subject, come to find out, we just went and captured a world leader. We just went into their country and took him out of there, him and his wife. Now, there's a lot of people who are arguing back and forth. See, that reminds me. Originally, I thought this was going to be all about oil. And turns out there's a lot going on under the surface. Turns out that it has a lot to do with rare minerals that are used in weaponry, cell phones, technology. So apparently Russia's been trying to make headwind. Okay. Trying to make headway into this country. And so they had troops in Venezuela. Now we're hearing that China has been trying to get into Venezuela as well. They want those rare earth minerals. And there was an impact study done, a study by one of our governmental agencies. I can't remember off the top of my head. And they basically said, they pretty much let the cat out of the bag, that the reason Venezuela is so prominent is because of these rare earth minerals that everybody wants to get their hands on. So I just wonder. I
was looking for a date when Trump took Venezuela.
Well,
let me do my job.
I think Trump took it. Well, about a week and a half ago, I think, wasn't it?
8th of January.
8th of January. No. Yesterday? I think it was about a week.
No, it was.
Yeah. Because Maduro, we took Maduro about a week ago.
Yeah.
But let's just dive into the articles. Because we've got. So, Venezuela, we killed 24 security officers in that excursion. At least 24 Venezuelan security officers were killed in the U.S. military operations to capture Nicolas Maduro, Venezuela's military announced, bringing the official death count up to 56. Venezuela's Attorney General William Saeb said Tuesday that dozens of officials and civilians were killed and that prosecutors would investigate the deaths in what he described was a war crime. Definitely, we did a few bombing campaigns. I think part of it was diversionary. But yeah, we killed civilians in that one. According to the Pentagon, 7 U.S. service members were injured in Saturday's raid in Caracas. So that was last Saturday. Man,
3rd of
seems longer than that.
January.
3rd of January.
The 3rd of January.
Well, 5 days ago.
Is when they military strikes on Venezuela, and I think there was how many people did they say? I just had it now. There was, I think.
Yeah. So let's continue down. In addition to 24 security officers, 32 Cuban military and police officers working in Venezuela were also killed. According to Cuba's government, prompting 2 days of mourning on the Caribbean island. So yeah, now we've implicated Cuba. We've attacked Cuba, basically. That's great. Yeah, just what we need. Whatever happened to no new wars? You know, remember when Maga told us, "Oh, we better not have Kamala Harris. She'll get us into another war." Basically, if I could summarize today's show, the entire show, is in a stunning bit of hubris, Trump decides to go world police and capture Venezuelan President Maduro. Now, thank God we have a no new wars president. Otherwise, this might be seen as an act of war.
100 people were killed.
And it goes on and on and on and on. And of course, Mike's Johnson is vigorously defending the Trump administration. Oh, but he did say now they're ramping up. They're talking about going after Greenland again. They will not let it go. They want to go after Greenland. And so basically Johnson says, "No, I don't think that's appropriate." It's like, what? Not appropriate? Taking over an entire landmass?
That's going to trigger a war. That's going to break NATO if Trump goes after Greenland. That is not going to be that's not going to be a good thing. That is going to break alliances.
And then we got morons in this country talking about how, we're going to get all this free oil and it's going to bring down the price of gas in this country. It's like, you got to be fucking kidding me. Are you that stupid? With oil trading at roughly $56 a barrel, the 30 million to 50 million barrels Trump says the U.S. is set to gain could mark a transaction worth as much as $2.8 billion. The U.S. goes through an average of roughly 20 million barrels a day of oil and related products, meaning that Venezuela's transfer would be equivalent to as much as 2.5 days of supply, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. Wow. 2.5 days, guys. Woo! Despite Venezuela having the world's largest proven crude oil reserves, it only produces an average about 1 million barrels a day. Significantly below the U.S. average of 13.9 million barrels a day during October.
Does Trump honestly think murdering 100 people was worth that?
Oh, yeah. Of course he does. These people are the dumbest. This is why I say it's not the oil. Oil is a distraction. Oil is a distraction. It's
rare. The Epstein files.
Yeah. Release the Epstein files. Imagine. So Trump says U.S. to get about 30 million to 50 million barrels of sanctioned oil from Venezuela at market price. At market price. So there is no free oil. Sorry, guys, but the price of gas is not going down.
Do you want to hear something scary?
Yeah, go ahead.
Trump says that he doesn't need international law for him to constrain his power only by his own morality. Trump doesn't have any morality. We're all fucked.
All of this could have been avoided. Trump said on social media, on his social Truth Central, Venezuela would be selling 30 million to 50 million barrels of high quality oil to the U.S. at its market price. Okay. So, yeah. It's not about oil. Democratic senator seeks info from oil executives on Venezuela communications with White House. Chevron, ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips. Yeah, it's ExxonMobil back in the day, back in the 90s, when they were in Venezuela, they pretty much lost their ass, financially speaking. They went in there and they're like, yeah, we didn't make any money. In fact, we lost money, and we're just still trying to recoup our losses from that Venezuelan venture. So when people say oil, it's like, it can't be just about oil because they don't produce enough, number one. It would barely scratch the surface of our daily needs. So it can't be just oil. And then somebody on Substack basically said, yeah, here's, according to these government agencies, here's what they're looking at. And it's like, okay. Now that makes sense. But did you see pictures of Maduro's wife after that? When she appeared in court? Yeah, she looked like she'd been drugged in an alley and punched. I mean, they roughed her up. Somebody did. Yeah, take a look. She looks pretty bad. Do you have it?
Yes, I'm currently looking at Maduro's wife. Jesus Christ.
President Trump has made it well known that acquiring Greenland is a national security priority of the United States, and it's vital to deter our adversaries in the Arctic region. My God.
What have they... Oh my God, they broke her ribs.
Did they break her ribs?
Yeah, Maduro's wife got broken ribs, injured eye, cut on her forehead. Jesus.
Yeah, she looked like she'd been beat up. I'm like,
yeah.
You know some fucking pussy in our military manhandled her.
Mm-hmm.
He can't beat on his own wife, so yeah. That wouldn't surprise me.
Jesus Christ, that poor woman.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, let me say this. Maduro is not a nice guy. Okay? We are not going to sit here and defend Maduro because he seems to be pretty disliked. His actions in Venezuela have been deplorable. However, that is not up to us to just go ahead and be Captain World Police. That is not our job. And second of all, I think we're going to look into another article, and we're going to talk about the legality of what we did, of the operation that we partook in. This is an instigation. This This is an act of war. I don't know what else you can call this.
Modern day piracy. Trump has become a pirate.
So here's the thing. They're saying that Maduro was not a legit president because of their elections. Let's say they had election fraud. Okay, let's say you're correct. Let's say, why is it that Maduro's vice president is now in charge of Venezuela? If the elections were a complete fraud, why did we allow the vice president to now become president? That entire administration should be illegitimate, correct?
Are we really going to take Captain Bonespurs on his word about election fraud, considering he was the original boy who cried wolf? Are we going to take the word of a liar, a corrupt, paedophilic rapist, over... There was no election fraud. There's never... Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't even with them. I can't. They're so freaking dumb. They make a snail seem intelligent.
And I don't want to get, all caught up in the weeds here. And the story goes on with J.D. Vance, and I'm like, I really don't care. Whatever. Let's move on. Senator Lindsey Graham, Lord. Lindsey Graham says the plan in Venezuela is for the U.S. to build the country up. What the fuck? Why don't we build this country up? Why aren't we building America up? Why are we in Venezuela building them up? Right? America first? Isn't that what they said? Can you believe this shit? Lindsey Graham said hopes Trump administration tactics spread. Oh, now he wants to go to Cuba. Lindsey Graham wants to spread this to Cuba. These people are out of their mind. These people want to relive the good old days of the 1800s. The open door policy. Basically, America comes into a country, and if the door doesn't open, we kick it open. There it is. Country's open. Here we go.
They've never cared. They've never cared about the people. It's all about lining their pockets and how much power that they can grab for themselves. They don't care about the people that vote for them. They don't care what happens to them as long as they get money and they've got the power that they need to do whatever they want to do, because they are corrupt, they are disgusting, and they all belong in prison.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am not a Maduro fan. We're not standing for him, but this is not it.
No, it's not.
Let's see. Protester. We don't have time.
Because even if Maduro had rigged the election, that does not give Trump carte blanche to commit international kidnapping and piracy. Two wrongs don't make a right.
Now Governor Ron DeSantis, Mr. Hooker Boots himself, says he wants to prosecute Maduro. He wants to bring state charges against Maduro because he alleges that Maduro sent criminals to the state of Florida. This is a quote. He would empty his prisons and send them to America across the border, and we'd end up with some of these people in Florida. So to me, this is a very hostile act. So we're looking at statues to see. I think that should say statutes, but whatever. I think that's a misprint from. We're looking at statues. Okay. That would be a very Florida thing to say. Anyway, moving on.
Are you picking on poor Florida men? Leave them float in the air with their balloons. Leave them be. They're peaceful up there.
Maduro pleaded not guilty Monday to federal drug trafficking charges in New York. Of course he's going to plead not guilty. Maduro doesn't traffic drugs. Other people do that. Him and his wife were seized. Yeah, him and his wife were seized from their Caracas home in the middle of the night military operation.
Kidnapped.
Ugh.
They were kidnapped.
I can't. Part of me wonders. What the
Trump
fuck?
is a modern day pirate. Trump is a modern day pirate.
Why were they in their home? That doesn't make any sense. With all of the trouble with U.S. sword rattling and saber rattling, they should have been in a bunker.
Because they weren't expecting to be kidnapped by a international pirate.
Well, you know what kind of people are running the United States government?
Clowns.
Yeah, I mean, you have to expect every kind of lunacy. This isn't Biden's America anymore. I mean, I'm shocked that the United States didn't just shell their home. But they wanted a spectacle, so here we go.
It was bad enough that they killed 100 people when they struck Venezuela in the first place before going in there to kidnap a president. And then he's calling it confiscate, and I'm just going to call it sort of international piracy of like taking oil that doesn't belong to him.
Americans are split about the U.S. capturing Maduro, with many still forming opinions. According to a poll, 4 in 10 approved of the U.S. military being sent to capture Maduro, while roughly the same share were opposed. About 2 in 10 were unsure.
Well, let me ask those ones that approve of Maduro being kidnapped, would they feel in the same frame of mind if Trump was in Maduro's position? If a president from another country come in and kidnap Trump the way Trump kidnapped Maduro, would those people who are in favor of Maduro being kidnapped feel the same if Trump was in that position? Because I bet you bottom dollar they would not be comfortable with that whatsoever. They'd have their pitchforks out.
I would be. That's a rescue mission if I ever heard of one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. If anyone needs to be removed from power, it's Trump.
Cuba faces uncertain future after U.S. topples Venezuelan leader Maduro. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because now everyone's chomping at the bit. You got these war hawks that are like, ooh, yeah, Cuba, let's go after Cuba.
Tell me how doing it to Maduro was any different from what Bush done in Iraq. It's going to be a mess. And then innocent troops going out over to fight to try and calm things down are going to die. Because we've got idiots in charge that don't know how to run countries properly. And they make stupid decisions affecting everyone. It's going to be a mess.
Well,
Trump had no business going into Venezuela.
Let's read about the legality of this situation. President Donald Trump has hailed the U.S. military operation as brilliant and amazing. But legal experts say it violated domestic and international law. The legality of the capture of Maduro and his wife, Celia Flores, on January 3rd remains a subject of intense debate. It is also a point of conflict between Washington and some foreign governments and the international community. By the way, all of these articles will be linked in the show notes. These actions represent grave and manifest deliberate violation of the most fundamental principles of international law, set a dangerous precedent, and risk destabilizing the entire region and the world. A panel of United Nations experts said in a statement January 7th. The panel of 16 special rapporteurs are independent human rights experts appointed by the UN Human Rights Council. Their views do not necessarily represent those of the United Nations, but were officially released by the UN Human Rights Office. That opinion is unlikely to affect whether Maduro and Flores will stand trial in the Southern District of New York on drug trafficking and other charges. That's because a decades-old Supreme Court decision essentially holds that once a person is brought to the United States under a legitimate arrest warrant, it doesn't matter how they got here in terms of whether their prosecution should go forward. The panel said the unprovoked use of armed forces on Venezuelan sovereign territory is a clear breach of Article 2 of the UN Charter, which unequivocally prohibits the threat or use of force against the territorial integrity or political independence of any state. It may also constitute the international crime of aggression attributed to the individual political and military leaders involved. The UN expert also said that under international law, sitting heads of state like Maduro are immune from the criminal jurisdiction of foreign courts while in office. And Maduro's defense attorney, he might make that argument. China condemned the capture of Maduro and Flores as a clear violation of international law. Wow, China. China is on the side of the angels on this one. Amazing.
We guess because Trump has no justified constitutional right to invade Venezuela. He had no constitutional power over enacting what he's done. He has literally committed international piracy.
China calls on the U.S. to release them at once and stop toppling the government of Venezuela and resolve issues through dialogue and negotiation. What's amazing to me is I would love to see this kind of condemnation of Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, right, what you've got to think as well, Trump literally had Vladimir Putin in the US. Vladimir Putin's got an arrest warrant out for him. Yet Trump let him come into the US without arresting him and let him fly home safely. Yet he decided to invade Venezuela and kidnap and arrest Maduro, where Trump has no constitutional power to do so. He has no constitutional cause. I'm no big fan of Maduro, but there is certain things you need to do.
Well, because it involved U.S. troops and weapons and the deaths of 75 people in Venezuela, Trump needed approval from Congress before acting. Maduro's capture by Army Rangers, even if accompanied by a federal law enforcement agent who actually arrested him, violated U.S. law requiring congressional authorization of such foreign military interventions. Former Defense Department legal counsel Ryan Goodman told the USA Today, the Constitution vests Congress with the decision whether to engage in acts of war or carry out an arrest warrant inside a foreign country. Jesus Christ. because the operation also was a flagrant violation of the UN Charter, it violates U.S. law too.
Yeah, and it wasn't just US troops that invaded Venezuela. There was British troops helping.
British troops were helping?
Yes. Trump has not only implicated the US, he's implicated British troops. He's implicated the UK in this as well.
Were UK troops on the ground helping?
Yes, British troops helped the US seize the oil tankers and invade. Yeah.
But not the Maduro fiasco.
Yeah.
Everything else.
They helped.
Oh, they helped in that operation as well?
Yeah.
Okay. I did not hear about that.
Yeah, I've got a declassified UK here. How Britain helped Trump destabilize Venezuela. I can send it to you if you want.
Sure. That's scary. Noriega precedent. Trump administration also has pointed to the 1989 U.S. invasion of Panama to capture General Manuel Noriega, also indicted on U.S. drug charges, as precedent. We're going back to the Reagan administration?
Yeah. Now, in the article I sent to, Starmer is trying to state that British troops didn't help kidnap Maduro, but Starmer is a liar. We know Starmer is a butt kisser. So Starmer's not going to want the public knowing that the troops.
Now, is this, well, I hate to ask, is this a reputable news source?
Yeah.
He's a so Keir Starmer is a former human rights lawyer.
Yeah, and it says, the British military has officially denied involvement in Trump's kidnapping. They're going to deny it, but we all know they were involved. Like, why were British troops over there in the first place?
Well, Starmer insists there was no UK involvement in this operation, but the Royal Navy personnel have nonetheless been embedded in the U.S. Armada surrounding Venezuela over recent weeks. Okay, but that's a different subject, but it doesn't really say they were there. Okay, hold on. Defense Secretary John Healey apparently ordered them not to take part in the strikes on Venezuela, and U.S.-UK intelligence sharing was reportedly frozen to avoid British complicity.
Article as well. Yeah, and I'll send you another article where it was saying that British forces helped the US take a Russian-flagged oil tanker.
Okay,
so we got two contradiction things of the news, and it's up to people to try and read between the lines, but I don't think they're as innocent as what they're trying to make out, and I don't trust Keir Starmer. I'm sorry, I really don't.
So since 2019, Britain has frozen over $2 billion of Venezuelan gold in the Bank of England, sponsored anti-government initiatives, and even set up a secret Venezuelan reconstruction unit to plan for the day after Maduro's overthrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know it sounds like conspiracy land.
I mean, That's the thing. I mean, there could be, truth mixed with error, but again,
Right.
our truth,
Yeah,
at least on the Trump administration, I don't know. Are they?
I've just sent you another article from itv.com. The United States seized 2 foreign oil tankers in back-to-back operations. In North Atlantica and Caribbean, British military officials now have confirmed the UK's armed forces were also involved. So they were denying it, first of all, like they're denying having any involvement in kidnapping Maduro, which I do think, because the British military are so embedded with the US,
Mhm.
I do think that they helped and took part in that task force to kidnap Maduro. I guess I'll just have to wait and see, because it will all come out in the wash. The truth always comes out in the wash. Regardless how much they try and hide it, it'll always come out. I just need to wait and watch this space,
Yeah. But yeah, just watch the space. I mean, and MAGA media is just really ramping it up, showing all of these Venezuelans who are happy and dancing in the street. Yay, Maduro's gone. But they're only showing a few morons who have no idea what they're allowing the United States to actually do. You think it was bad with Maduro? Wait until the U.S. gets involved in Venezuelan politics. You're going to see how really bad it can get. You went from a hot plate into the fucking furnace. But, okay. You want to cheer? Yay, Maduro's gone. Alrighty. Here's another article. Trump warns Republicans that they have to win midterms or he'll get impeached. President Donald Trump warned Republican members of Congress on Tuesday that if they don't win this year's midterms, then he will get impeached. You say that as if it's a bad thing. Trump made the comments during the House GOP retreat at the Kennedy Center that has been recently renamed to include Trump's name by a board filled with his appointees. You got to win the midterms, because if we don't win the midterms, it's just going to be, they'll find a reason to impeach me. I'll get impeached. Why would you get impeached, Mr. President? Why? What gives you that idea?
He's a corrupt son of a bitch.
Trump was impeached 2 times during his first term. In 2019, he was impeached on charges of abuse of power and obstruction of Congress for allegedly pressuring Ukraine's president to interfere in the 2020 election. The second impeachment came during his final days in office after the attack on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021, with lawmakers charging him with incitement of insurrection. Trump was acquitted in the Senate by Senate Republicans both times. I got impeached twice for nothing, he argued. No, you're a fucking asshole. And this is who these maggots are so excited. They're like, yay! They're like barking seals. They'll cheer anything and clap their fins for anything Trump does. Doesn't matter what. They say when you win the presidency, you lose the midterm. So you're all brilliant people. Most of you are in this business longer than me. That makes me smarter than you, because look where I am, right? No, it doesn't. But dude, this syphilitic brain But I wish you could explain to me what the hell's going on with the mind of the public, because we have the right policy. They don't. They have horrible policy. They don't stick together. Well, you know what? He is right. That last phrase he said, he's correct. They don't stick together. And the 2024 election proved that we do not stick together. We came together for the old white man Biden, but as soon as the competent black woman started running, we fractured. That was an embarrassment. I could not, when I saw the election results, the final votes cast, I just said, you know what? We deserve Trump. We deserve everything that's happening to us. And we're going to have to suffer more. We're going to have to suffer more because we still haven't learned the lessons. We are dying of whiteness because we insist on protecting white supremacy in this country. Full stop. That's why we're here. They had then he continued. Well, you know what? I'm not going to even read the rest of his stupid quote. Look at Mike Johnson. Listen, I mean, this fucking retard. Just like, what a fucking moron. Trump talks healthcare. You know what? He has no policy. If Obamacare goes away, he has nothing to replace it with. Nothing. He doesn't even have a concept.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes, he
What?
does. He will replace it with thoughts and prayers.
Or just shut up and fucking die.
Yeah.
You got me there.
Trump's medical plan is shut the fuck up and just pull your bootstraps up and don't complain. That's Trump's medical care plan.
Doesn't surprise me.
Trump does not care about anybody, not even when they donate money to him. Yes, he will be nice to them because he wants them to donate more money to him. But that is the only reason that he's nice. But anybody else? He even cons his supporters out of money by putting reoccurring bank charges on the donation things. So the people that have donated don't realise they've got a reoccurring amount going out every month.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, I'm going right back into this. Remember, we talked about Greenland, right? Yesterday, Rubio plans to meet with Danish officials next week to talk about U.S. interest in Greenland. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said he plans to meet with Danish officials next week after Trump administration doubled down on its intention to take over Greenland. Since the capture of Maduro, President Trump has revived his argument, and the United States needs to control the world's largest island to ensure its own security in the face of rising threats from China and Russia in the Arctic. Wow, so instead of working with our European allies, we're just going to take what's theirs, I guess. Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen and his Greenland counterpart, Vivian Motzfeldt, had requested a meeting with Rubio, according to a statement posted Tuesday to Greenland's government website. Previous requests for a meeting were not successful. You know what's interesting is I'm hearing reports of UN or European Union troops mobilizing in the defense of Greenland. Rubio told a select group of U.S. lawmakers during a classified briefing Monday on Capitol Hill, according to a spokesperson with knowledge of his comments, who was granted anonymity because it was a private discussion. Well, European leaders expressed concern. The leaders of France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, and the United Kingdom joined Danish Prime Minister in issuing a statement this week reaffirming that the mineral-rich land, there it is again, mineral-rich land, which guards the Arctic and North Atlantic approaches to North America, belongs to its people. Basically, they warned that a U.S. takeover would amount to the end of NATO. Nordics do not lightly make statements like this, but it is Trump whose very bombastic language, bordering on direct threats and intimidation, is threatening the fact to another ally by saying, "I will control or annex the territory." I'm not here to talk about Denmark or military intervention. I'll be meeting with them next week. We'll have those conversations with them, but I don't have anything further to add to that, Rubio said. Do you have anything to add to that?
Not anything to that, but I just come across a email that Trump sent out just before Christmas, where in the email it states, in a bold move, President Trump has ordered a freeze on all new regulations, guidelines, and announcements from the CDC, FDA, and NIH. This pause will prevent unelected bureaucrats from further undermining our health freedom. RFK Jr. is ready to bring accountability to these agencies. He'll change chromosomes and restore the public trust in health governance. RFK Jr. It gets better. Hopes there's 2 million.
He's going to restore chromosomes? He's going to restore chromosomes.
Yeah, it literally says he'll change. Hope this 2 million campaign debt is settled before he steps into this critical role.
I'm too sober for this.
Your critical support will ensure we can move forward. Donate today to help RFK Jr. succeed in the coming days ahead. So, yeah, they're basically resorting to scare tactics. There was this other email sent out at Christmas by Trump stating that people must donate to him before the Democrats take the White House and throw him in prison. He also sent out another one stating that if they raise funds, his desperate push to get into heaven.
Okay.
Sorry, there's just a load of random weird freaking emails from Trump.
Yeah.
Grifting the biggest grift that he's ever grifted in all his life. Like he is so desperate to get money out of people. He is now saying that if they don't donate to him, he's not going to be able to get into heaven. This is a new grift. This is diabolical. Trump is diabolical.
Yeah, among
Why
other
do people
things.
support him?
They do. Yeah, they do. Yeah, so we're in a clusterfuck, people, and this is because we allowed it to happen. We allowed this, especially white voters. We shit the bed, and now we have to deal with fascism. and we're looking at the dissolution, the dissolvement of NATO.
I've got to send you this so you can laugh at this as well.
Well, I don't know if I'll be laughing at much of anything.
Yeah, I understand.
We laugh to not cry, but yeah.
Cry, yeah. That's what I mean. I'm going to send this to you, but this is so sad. And there's going to be people believing this.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were the same dumb motherfuckers that thought ivermectin horse paste was going to protect against COVID.
So this is a new one. Donate so I can get to heaven. I just sent it to you in the show chat. I would donate.
I would donate if I could be assured he would go to heaven tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
Hell, me too.
Idiots will idiot.
But I do have a condition. I do have a condition.
What's that?
I will donate for Trump to go to heaven, but only if Trump takes JD Vance with him.
Take all of them.
Because I do not.
Go, all of you go to heaven together. Anyway, moving right along. Want to thank you so much for joining us on the Skeptically Speaking podcast. You found us on YouTube. You know you did. You caught us. But you could also catch us on TikTok, Blue Sky, Discord, Instagram, Threads, Facebook, Kick, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, and Substack. If you like more independent media and you want more independent media in your life, please consider adding us to your independent media portfolio. You can donate, you can catch us on Cash App, Venmo, or become a Patreon subscriber. Links will be down in the description.
Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. We love reading your comments, and we really do appreciate your support. And we hope you have a fabulous weekend. But we shall see you tomorrow.
A magical day.
Mm-hmm.
Why'd you leave the keys up on the table? Here you go, create another fable. You wanted to grab a brush and put a little makeup. You wanted to act disgusting with the shaker. You wanted to. Why'd you leave the keys up on the table? You wanted to. I don't think you trust in my self-righteous suicide. I cry when angels deserve to die. In my self-righteous suicide. I cry when angels deserve to die. I commend my spirit.